Okay, we are going to go to Eduphoria today, and we are going to look at sending a service request. As you know, when you send in a service request to get your computer worked on or anything else in your classroom, you need to do it through Eduphoria. So, pull up Eduphoria and we look to see, and we've got Aware, which is of course where our test data is, Forethought, where your lesson plans, but your help desk is what we're going to be looking at. Workshop, that's where when they have us register for things on Eduphoria, it's going to be there. PDOS, we will have due probably the first couple weeks in September, like it always is, and that's where we fill out those first couple of forms. Form Space is where we have our referrals, and then of course the facilities and events, which is where we look at some things. So let's look at the help desk first. When we look at help desk, we pull up and you have all of this stuff on here, and as you can see, there's different things. And the one good thing about Eduphoria is that if you're not in your classroom or something's wrong with your computer, you can do it from another classroom computer. So of course you've got your computer system or tablet PC, and so that's your basic computers, and that's just if your computer's not turning on or moving slow, something along that. Access to a website, of course, is where if you want to look at something specific, it goes across to administration and they look at your choice. Since none of us really have phones and voicemail, that doesn't really apply to too many of us, but that's where you would do it. Cafeteria, not for us. Email. This, of course, if you're having a Microsoft 365 email problem, it goes there. Now, over here, the second tier technology support, this is big stuff, probably above our heads stuff, so we really don't have to worry about that as much. Semantic risk, though, server support, those kind of things. Instructional technology, this is if you want to get help doing some sort of computer work in your classroom with your students, and that's there. The ones you're probably going to be using mostly would be this one and this one over here, something attached to my computer. Scanner, projector, document camera, all of those things are here. And so we also have software on your computer if you need to put something in, or if you don't. As far as network, once again, that's issues if you think yours has a virus. Skyward, password reset, and that's, you know, if you've gone back after Christmas and can't remember your password. And then of course the equipment moves, because we all know it has to be done because of inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and pick something attached to my computer, just kind of for the sake, but you can see camera, interactive device, printer, scanner, docking station, keyboard, mouse, projector, and storage device. And so if you're having issues, let's say with our new projector, and when you go select your campus, it is extremely important. This is why the inventory stuff is so important. If I go to the junior high and then I click on my particular classroom, and I can look at my barcodes now. There's a lot of barcodes for my classroom, and that's because of some of the stuff that I've gotten granted over the years through the different grant programs. A couple of these, some of these are old, extremely old printers and things like that, and so they've had to adjust these things over the years. But click on the one that goes along with it. I received from Donors Choose, I received 2 iPads a couple years ago, and then from the foundation I just got a couple more iPods, and that's helping out, and that's all that stuff there. Your conference period, and then you put in your request here. It is extremely important that you do this, especially whenever Tasha comes and does stuff, because part of it is because that way Tasha can, if it happens again, they'll know what they did to fix it the first time, and they can go back and look at that and they can help others. But also it shows how much work she really does for us. And so that is that information there. Now, if I want to, I'm going to go ahead and switch applications, and I want to go this time to facilities and events. Let's go ahead, since we're here and we're going to talk about this. As far as my reservations, you can make a reservation. Now this is what we have to do for the computer labs and such. So we're going to go to Little Cypress Junior High, and you can have a computer lab or a mobile lab. At this time she is working on making sure there's a mobile lab in the 500, 400, and 300 hallways, because those are the 8th grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade carts. But there's not as far as in the 200 hallway because there are 2 computer labs in there. That's kind of how it's going to work, at least for this next year. Now, that's not to say you can't come get something or reserve a different computer lab or go to the computer lab if you are in a different hallway. But that's kind of as far as that's going to go. But if you click on the mobile lab, and we're going to go to next. And as far as when do you want it, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult or a little bit easier if you just browse for your item and you go and you click on your day. Let's say the second day of school. I want to click and let's see, move this over so you can see, and I want the 8th grade cart for the second day of school, and I can go ahead and do this. If there was another teacher that has already signed up, then it will show, and so I'll go ahead and I'm not real sure what time that class period is yet, so we're just going to go ahead and say 10 a.m. I want it from 10 to 10:30, although we know that's not right. And see how it says reservation requires approval. So I want to call this my 21st century class, and we are going to set up our Microsoft 365 accounts for that class, and I'm going to submit, and there it goes, and it puts me on there. Now, one reason to show you this now, yes, we can always go back and change it once I figure out the times and all that kind of stuff, but this also allows you to see if somebody else is on it that particular day. So as far as Eduphoria is concerned, we're done as far as that. We can go ahead and look at PDOS while we're in here. And remember to switch the applications. And we can go to our PDOS self-report. And remember, our objectives, that first section, you know, as far as right here with my forethought courses, it's going to link up to what I teach. And so I can, because remember we talked about that when we were setting up our lesson plans, here it is, and I can just select all of these because I teach all of those and in my 8th grade class. And there's my big old long list, and I can even, and so I can add these objectives, and I can click OK, and then I can, let's say, my technology ones, because in the 21st century skills I try and teach these as well, and these are the ones, the same ones that are embedded into our normal stuff as well. And so I add my objectives, and that's done, and I can close this section, and there's my 2 things that I do. And then I can go as far as some of the other things that we look at as with the approval of the principal, and we can look at this, and I can save. And so there's my part 1, and then the assessment. And do I disaggregate my TEKS assessment data? If I don't, I would be a terrible math teacher. And so I can go through all of these things because this is what I do and everything. And I could also, you know, list in some other things that I might think about in the other. But for right now and for the sake of this, I click Save, and I'm done. And so now my section 1 is done, and so I could go ahead and submit it, but I'm not going to right now. But that way that part is done, and see, once you've submitted it, you can print it out and it's done and easy to see. So that gives you kind of as far as your different things that you can see. Lastly, we'll look at Aware real quick, and when we look at Aware, we've got these things. Welcome to the new Aware. So this one's new. And so we're going to look and see what's changed. So you have Analyze, Assessments, Item Bank, Students, and Reports. Well, the main things that I look at is Analyze and Reports. As far as the students, the Item Bank, that breaks it down looking a little differently because math usually makes those things for us. And so it says looking at the Manage tabs, we can relocate, and we're going to end this because what we need to focus on is the test that's available. And so as we know, the test that gets available is the ones that Ms. Colburn sets out for us. And so as they're available, now if something comes across and you didn't get your date and time, then it's okay for that. And Ms. Colburn can fix that for you, and she can release those tests back again for us to pull up. Now, lastly, as far as under our Microsoft 365 calendars, And we can see, we tried to put in an LCJH testing calendar, and hopefully everyone should have gotten a share option on that, and so we will be working towards that.